to see Andrew Wiggins be the #1 draft pick in the NBA draft. I mean, it meant the world to me. It meant the world, and to share that with his mom and dad, and Jamal Crawford, who I recruited. And he asked me to come to the green room. He told me I had more of an impact than anybody, on him outside of his mom and dad. And, so to be there and share that with him and his family, and then to stay as close as I have. He invited me and my wife to his wedding 5 years ago, and to celebrate those kind of days with him, after knowing him as a teenager, it's something special, and it's something you'll never forget. There's not a whole lot that coach like me in the United States, so I'm hoping I could be, an inspiration to them too. I went and played in the CBA and played for George Karl and Raymond. Me and Raymond got to play together there. And I was like just an internship short from my getting my degree. So Clem asked me to come back to Western for a semester and kind of help them coach. And then that's when I got the coaching bug, and I really wanted to coach. And so I came back home and helped my dad coach, who was a head coach at a high school. And then I wanted to try and do it myself. So after 4 years with him, I got a head coaching job in the same league as him. And so we had to go head to head a couple times. And I did really good in high school. The high school I was at that was in his league, we won the Central Coast section. And so I started an AU program, and had a kid named Kevin Dempsey that went to UCLA, had a kid, he went to Gonzaga. So I had about 5 D1 kids in my program. And then college coaches started calling me, and I kept saying, wow, I wouldn't mind getting into college. And then Lloyd Pierce played for me, and Cal was recruiting him. So every time they came down, they'd call me, and I'd go to the game with Todd Bozeman, who was an assistant at Cal then. He got the head job, and then he asked me would I be interested in coming to coach? And that was like my dream, to go coach at a college. And we had Jason Kidd and Lamont Murray and Sharif Abdur-Rahim. And so that was my very first coaching gig. And I was like, wow, this is big time. And we're playing UCLA on TV and Arizona back when they were good. And that's when I really got the coaching bug. So that's when I got into coaching. I got to Cal and got back on the road, and then I got to Michigan and went to USC for a couple years, and then I went to Miami, and I've been at Kansas now for 17.
He got into the coaching bug because he was so smart and found himself over there, and now he's one of the greatest, not only assistant coaches, if he ever gets the opportunity to have a head job, he'll be a great head coach, but he's one of the top assistant coaches in the country, with more one and done, athletes out of college to the NBA than anybody, who's currently coaching.
You could tell when they've been with Raymond or Kurtis, these guys are most of these ball players or these athletes are very humble. They know what they got, but they're not running around real cocky and everything, which is kind of amazing in this day and age, right?
I feel like I've lived a dream life, like people always said, do something you love and it doesn't feel like work. It's almost like how I feel every day, could wear sweats and shorts in the summer and spring to work and work with kids and get in the gym and help them, get their jumper better. And it's just, it's been like, I've been so blessed. I couldn't imagine doing anything else. And I feel like the luckiest person in the world. People have asked me, well, don't you want to be a head coach? And I don't really have a big ego. So like, that's not the most important thing to me. But, when I get calls from kids, even back in high school saying, Coach, it meant so much to me, like the 2 years I spent with you, or kids here that get drafted and hit me up and say, Coach, you meant so much in my life, That's like the most rewarding thing I could ever. It supersedes any wins or losses. And although winning the national championship was great, it's just like the amount of kids you've been able to help along the way that you were able to mentor, and you meant something in their life. And a lot of them maybe that didn't have dads growing up, like that means the world to me. So this has been the most rewarding profession I've ever had, and to work for a guy like Bill Self, who's a Hall of Famer, and he's a better person than he is a coach. And I tell people that, and it's hard for them to believe, but it's the truth. He's like, I'll consider him probably one of the best friends I ever had in life. To me, it's I don't feel like I did any of it at all. Like, I feel like God put me in a position to help me, and he deserves like all the glory. Like, I tell these kids that do say that, Coach, you helped me so much. I think one of the biggest things, we had a kid here named Ben McLemore that me and Coach went to his house, and he's still in the league. I think he played for the Rockets this last year, but it was the worst house that me and Coach had ever been in. I mean, it was so sad. And not to put Ben down, but to see a kid like that to come from where he did to where he is now. And, when he calls you and says, Coach, I love you. Thanks for everything. If it wasn't for you, he didn't even think he was going to make it here to Kansas. That's how bad it was where he grew up and where he lived. And it means the world to you, but I don't deserve any of the credit at all. I think I do think God gave me a platform to help the kids and just try to make their lives better. And that's all that I've been able to do through him is give these kids advice. And but to see Andrew Wiggins be the #1 draft pick in the NBA draft, I mean, it meant the world to me. It meant the world. And to share that with his mom and dad, and Jamal Crawford, who I recruited, and he asked me to come to the green room. He told me I had more of an impact than anybody on him outside of his mom and dad. And so to be there and share that with him and his family, and then to stay as close as I have. He invited me and my wife to his wedding 5 years ago, and to celebrate those kind of days with him, after knowing him as a teenager, it's something special, and it's something you'll never forget. And there's not a whole lot that coach like me in the United States. So I'm hoping I could be, an inspiration to them too, and try to help whoever I can, because it is a business that it's kind of who you know, and can somebody get a door open for you in this. And it's a lot of people that work really, really hard and may never get the chance. So I think I do have a duty to try to help as many as I can, and be more than willing to do it. I'd love to go back and take some of these young kids over there and coach them, or go with them and do camps or clinics. I think I owe it to the people back there and to everybody here, because I've been so blessed that anything I could do like on that side, I would love to do.